Wang Lin sped through the 7 million-world starry sky, his gaze sweeping across one world after another. A complex mix of emotions stirred within him. His expression remained dark as he passed through realms nearly indistinguishable from reality itself. After a long silence, he let out a deep sigh and turned his right hand in the void. Instantly, more than a dozen clan marks of the Lightning Thunder clan appeared in his hand. Crushing each one, he extracted from them a trove of thunder crystals and related items, all of which he carefully stored away. His gaze then fixed on the faint strands of lightning, dimly glowing threads, that flickered from the broken clan marks. Each one was a fragment of spirit thought thunder, remnants collected over the years by Zhang Jingyun and others from the countless newcomers they had slain across the 7 million worlds. Nearly 1,000 of these fragments had been amassed, enough to form a complete spirit thought thunder. With a wave of Wang Lin's right hand, the 1,000 or so fragments instantly began to merge. Their ghostly glow flared sharply in the starry sky. As the fusion continued, the fragments condensed into a single entity. From afar, it no longer resembled lightning. It had become a swirling mass of smoky, fibrous vapor, forming a sphere. Within, countless human faces flickered and shifted rapidly, ever-changing. Despite its unfamiliar appearance, a strange kind of thunder power radiated from the spinning vapor sphere, completely unlike the thunder Wang Lin cultivated. Yet the moment it emerged, the lightning in Wang Lin's right eye began to flicker uncontrollably. The vapor shuddered, then surged uncontrollably toward his right eye, piercing through in an instant and merging directly with his essence spirit. There, it blended with the thunder already rooted in his soul. Thunder roared wildly within Wang Lin's body. His long hair fluttered in the air despite the stillness around him, and his entire being erupted with boundless thunder, like a blazing sun bursting across the void. Thunderlight poured outward in every direction through the starry sky. At the exact moment the spirit thought thunder merged with the thunder origin within his essence spirit, Wang Lin's soul exploded with rumbling force. A barrage of memory fragments, like shards from the primordial era, erupted madly from the origin of thunder within his soul. The storm of memories swept through him, filling every inch of his being with roaring thunder. In his vision, the heavens and earth seemed to tear apart, collapsing layer by layer. From the ruin, a majestic scene emerged, vividly revealed to Wang Lin. It was the inheritance carried within the origin of thunder since the dawn of the world, the memory of the very first thunder ever born. This memory, sealed within the origin across countless eons, had only now been partially released, unlocked when Wang Lin absorbed the complete spirit thought thunder. In that vision, an endless bolt of thunder descended from the void. It blazed with immeasurable radiance and carried an indescribable aura of primal power. Surrounding it were 9 distinct types of lightning, each unique in form, rotating together to form a strange pattern. The origin thunder stood at the center, with the 9 accompanying thunders revolving around it. Their rotation birthed a self-contained world, radiating a sense of absolute perfection. This was the true origin of thunder. 9 thunders as the limit, born alongside the origin. Beyond 9 is 10, and 10 is completion. This is origin completion. A thunderous voice echoed through Wang Lin's essence spirit, as if it had torn through the ages from ancient times. It resounded with the weight of time itself, like the very voice of heaven. As the voice rang out, Wang Lin's soul exploded in a boom. Everything around him shattered. Then, in the next instant, he returned to himself. He still stood in the starry sky of the 7 million worlds. All around him was darkness, broken only by scattered starlight. But his robes were soaked in sweat, and shock filled his eyes. In his right eye, where once only a single lightning sigil existed, a second streak had appeared, much smaller, but clearly visible. That tiny strand of lightning now circled the sigil in his right pupil. With each revolution, it subtly enhanced the power of Wang Lin's origin of thunder. A deeper understanding of the thunder of heaven and earth spread through Wang Lin's heart. After a long silence, the shock faded and clarity dawned in his eyes. The Lightning Thunder clan once claimed that thunder exists in 6 forms. But in truth, even they are unaware, thunder is not 6-fold, but 9-fold. These 9 types of thunder are all accompanying thunders, each born alongside the origin of thunder. If so, then the truly complete thunder consists of 10, the origin and its 9 companions. My origin of thunder has long since awakened. It is on par with the so-called eternal thunder of the lightning thunder clan. That eternal thunder was also born of the origin. By absorbing these accompanying thunders, I can strengthen my origin. If I can gather all 9 accompanying thunders and fully absorb them, my origin of thunder will reach completion. With a complete origin of thunder, I could even break through the barrier of the 2nd step of cultivation and ascend to become a 3rd step thunder cultivator. As of now, I've already absorbed the spirit thought thunder, one of the 9. Only 8 remain. Never before had Wang Lin seen his future path so clearly. A trace of the origin of thunder memory opened a vast door to the heavens for him. It could be said that everything was intricately connected to the Lightning Thunder clan. Had Wang Lin not infiltrated the Lightning Thunder clan and entered the 7 million realms, his life would most likely have remained without the realization of the true completeness of thunder until the day he died. The Lightning Thunder clan, without any intention, directly bestowed upon Wang Lin a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to seize the power of the heavens. Wang Lin's right eye flickered with thunderous light. As his mind stirred, the thunder within his right pupil roared forth, floating in front of him. The origin thunder imprint radiated vibrant life, while a slightly smaller thought thunder ringed around it. This scene was eerily similar to the one he had seen earlier, the only difference being the absence of the other 8 accompanying thunders. The only regret was that the solitary thought thunder that accompanied it was too weak. Though there was only one, it appeared as little more than a trace. With a flash of his right eye, the incomplete thunder origin diagram immediately turned into lightning and was absorbed into Wang Lin's right eye. His eyes gleamed coldly as he muttered to himself, "Killing tribulation transcending cultivators to gather thought thunder. I don't wish to do that. But killing members of the Lightning Thunder clan and obtaining thought thunder from them. Now that is possible." With a cold sneer, Wang Lin's body flickered and disappeared into the starry sky. His divine sense scattered, forming ripples that spread out. A nightmare began to unfold within these 7 million realms. In the starry sky, several Lightning Thunder clan cultivators sped along like streaks of light. The weakest among them was a Wending cultivator, and the strongest was a Yang fulfillment cultivator. As they flew, they kept a close eye on their spirit talismans. The moment any fluctuation was detected, they would rush to investigate. This thought thunder is incredibly difficult to collect. We've already exterminated for tribulation transcending cultivators from the lower world, but not one of them has produced a thought thunder. Don't rush. This matter depends on fate. If no thought thunder appears, we'll just seize it from others, said the Yang fulfillment cultivator arrogantly, his voice slow and deliberate. The surrounding cultivators immediately began to flatter him. Just then, a Wending cultivator's expression changed as he pointed ahead and said, "Everyone, look over there. I've never seen anything like this in the 7 million realms." Before he could finish, a thunderous roar echoed from the direction he pointed, growing louder and closer, immediately capturing the attention of everyone around. The Yang fulfillment cultivator's eyes widened in shock. Ahead of them in the starry sky, a massive thunderstorm, stretching over 10,000 feet like a sea wave, roared toward them. Even at a distance, the silver lightning snakes spewing from its edges were countless. Thunder roared like a beast, shaking the heavens and the earth. "What is that? Run!" The faces of the cultivators immediately turned pale. Their scalps tingled in fear. In an instant, they attempted to retreat, with some of the more clever ones even preparing to teleport. The Yang fulfillment cultivator was among them, but their movements were too slow. In an instant, the massive thunderstorm surged forward, sweeping across them. Even the Yang fulfillment cultivator was pulled out of his teleportation, his soul scattering as he was immediately sucked into the storm. The rumbling of the storm seemed insignificant compared to the thunderclaps. In an instant, these cultivators were annihilated, both physically and spiritually. The storm spread across the starry sky, revealing a massive face within, Wang Lin. His face was hidden within the storm, which continued to roar forward, sweeping through every Lightning Thunder clan cultivator it encountered. None could escape their inevitable death. In the starry sky, an elder from the Lightning Thunder clan at the Glimpse of Nirvana stage, flying alone, suddenly trembled. He spun around, his pupils constricting in disbelief. Before he could escape, the thunderstorm stormed in from behind, swallowing him whole and continuing to spread forward. With Wang Lin's rampage of slaughter, no matter whether they were in the Yin deficiency or Yang fulfillment stages, or even in the Glimpse or pure Nirvana stages, they all had no power to resist under this thunderstorm and were devoured one by one. In just a few days, nearly 1,000 Lightning Thunder Clan cultivators had perished at Wang Lin's hands. Every mark on their foreheads had become his possession. Among the nearly 1,000 cultivators, Wang Lin had obtained 4 complete thought thunders. These thought thunders were absorbed into his right eye, constantly growing stronger. On the 4th day, after the thunderstorm had consumed 3 glimpses of Nirvana cultivators, Wang Lin was about to continue when his mind shifted. His spirit talisman had detected that someone nearby in the 7 million realms was undergoing a tribulation. But in the next moment, the talisman stopped trembling, signaling that someone had already arrived at the tribulation area before Wang Lin. The thunderstorm seemed to shrink as if being inhaled by a giant whale. In the blink of an eye, it formed a massive whirlpool, and in the center of it, Wang Lin's figure appeared. His eyes flickered as he stepped forward with the spirit talisman in hand, disappearing into the starry sky. The snow on the tree branches created a breathtaking sensation, as though it could fall at any moment. At this moment, in the world, it is early morning. In the cities and villages of mortals, wisps of cooking smoke gradually rise, drifting into the sky, as if to join the falling snowflakes. However, they are ultimately torn apart by the snowflakes and the cold wind blowing in from all directions. Occasionally, the sound of barking dogs can be heard coming from the cities or villages, signaling the arrival of a new day. The early sun in the distance, during this cold winter, brings little warmth, its light lazily spreading across the land, but it carries no heat. To the east of this world, there lies a vast plain. In summer, this plain is covered with lush green grass, where the mortals here graze their livestock. It is especially pleasant to lie on the grass and gaze at the azure sky. But now, there is no sight of any withered grass. All that can be seen is a vast expanse of white. With the sunlight falling upon it, the snow shines with a blinding whiteness. If one stares at it for too long, tears would even begin to form in their eyes, as the endless expanse stretches out, seemingly without end. In winter, no mortal ventures to this plain, and there are no footprints in the snow. Yet today, in the depths of this plain, there is a figure seated cross-legged in the snow. This person is a middle-aged man, handsome in appearance, with a face full of righteousness. His expression is calm as he gazes silently at the sky, exuding a sense of complexity. My cultivation, I can no longer suppress it. The man sighs softly, his gaze lingering on the distant snow-covered world, and he falls silent, quietly waiting for the arrival of the heavenly tribulation. Soon, the heavens and earth rumble. The falling snowflakes instantly shatter, and a violent wind seems to descend from the heavens, sweeping the snowflakes in all directions. Under the influence of this invisible storm, the thick snow on the plain where the man sits is blown into the air, swirling around in all directions. The snow, like waves, is stirred by the wild wind, revealing the barren earth beneath. From the sky, the stark contrast between the barren land and the surrounding snow-covered landscape is striking. At the same time, dark clouds of tribulation gather in the sky, rolling in like thunder, forming the cloud of the heavenly tribulation. Amidst the clouds, it seems as though a figure stands, surrounded by immortal energy, radiating boundless authority. Lower realm cultivator, transcend the tribulation to become an immortal. A mighty voice, like thunder, roars from within the tribulation clouds, shaking the heavens and the earth. But the words, though deafening, cause no change in the expression of the man undergoing the tribulation. The man brushes off his clothes, stands up, and looks at the tribulation clouds above, staring at the immortal figure amidst the clouds. His expression is one of complexity, tinged with deep mockery. Become an immortal? The sarcasm in his tone deepens. At the moment his mockery rises, the sky rumbles with thunder. The immortal on the clouds raises his right hand and points downward. Instantly, the tribulation clouds tremble, and a thunderbolt, powerful enough to split the heavens, strikes toward the man. The man remains motionless. Just as the thunderbolt descends, he raises his right hand and presses forward. The thunderbolt strikes him, creating an earth-shattering roar. Moments later, the thunder dissipates, and while the man's face turns pale, his head remains held high. He sees the immortal on the clouds raise his right hand once again. The roar of thunder echoes, as a second thunderbolt is brewing, rumbling fiercely. In a moment, it descends. But at that very instant, something unexpected happens. The sky, once covered by the tribulation clouds, seems boundless, but now a powerful force erupts. Two massive hands break through the clouds and violently tear them apart. A louder rumble follows, and the tribulation clouds are forcefully torn open, revealing a massive gap. From the gap, a young man dressed in white steps out. The moment this person appears, the immortal on the clouds changes his expression drastically, and his voice roars out in fury. "Who are you? I arrived here first. I have come to wait for your tribulation, to destroy the path of heaven, and collect thought thunder." Wang Lin raised his right hand and pointed toward the tribulation clouds. With a loud crash, the immortal on the clouds shudders. The thunder within him spirals out of control, violently surging. His expression changes drastically, but instead of fleeing, he grins ferociously and steps out of the clouds. With a gesture, he spits out a lightning pearl, which shoots toward Wang Lin. Arrogant to the extreme, the elder moves at incredible speed, closing in instantly. His entire body erupts with a cultivation that suggests he has reached the perfect late glimpse of nirvana stage, seemingly on the verge of breaking through into pure nirvana. The lightning pearl contains boundless thunder, formed by 5 bolts of thought thunder. In the elder's hands, it immediately exudes earth-shattering power, hurtling toward Wang Lin. "This pearl, I'll take it." Wang Lin's expression remains calm as he steps forward. In an instant, his figure vanishes, and when he reappears, he is directly behind the elder. Without turning around, he casually points his right hand behind him, tapping the elder's skull. The elder's face turns pale immediately, not a trace of color left. His eyes widen with terror, and he spits out a mouthful of blood. His body trembles as cracks appear across his head, spreading throughout his body. With a thunderous crash, his physical form shatters, his spirit annihilated, and his clan mark taken. In Wang Lin's left hand was a pearl infused with 5 strands of thought thunder. Killing this elder was effortless for him. With a light squeeze of his left hand, the pearl shattered, and the 5 strands of thought thunder were instantly absorbed by his right eye. They spun within his pupil, giving Wang Lin an eerie and otherworldly aura. It all happened too fast, almost in an instant. The middle-aged man on the ground below stood there in stunned silence, eyes wide with shock, unable to react for a long moment. "You, release all your cultivation and continue your tribulation," Wang Lin said calmly, hovering in midair as the 5 strands of thought thunder fully merged into his right eye. The middle-aged man took a deep breath, forcing down the dread in his heart. After casting a deep glance at Wang Lin, he released the full force of his cultivation. The power of the peak spirit transformation stage surged, filling the heavens. Within 10 breaths, lightning flickered once again in the tribulation cloud that had yet to dissipate. It was as if the sky had been torn open, and from the rift, a figure stepped out. "Haha, I've finally caught a tribulation transcender," the man shouted wildly the moment he emerged. But before his laughter ended, Wang Lin raised his right hand and waved. The newcomer didn't even have time to get his bearings before his body exploded with a thunderous roar. The middle-aged man undergoing tribulation watched, scalp tingling. Even in his dullness, he now realized he was being used as bait by this white-robed youth. He actually killed a celestial being. Time passed. Soon, another figure stepped out of the rift in the sky. This one was clearly cautious, darting out at high speed. He formed hand seals rapidly, cloaking himself in layers of defense. But with a casual wave from Wang Lin, all those protections crumbled with a deafening boom. His physical body disintegrated, and his soul was annihilated amid a pained scream, physical and spiritual annihilation. In the span of a single incense stick's time, over a dozen members of the Lightning Thunder clan were drawn in by the tribulation bait. Every one of them was instantly destroyed the moment they appeared, without exception. The middle-aged man undergoing the tribulation had become numb. Yet the horror in his heart only grew. With a bitter smile, he simply closed his eyes. This method of slaughtering Lightning Thunder clan members was far more efficient than if Wang Lin had gone searching for them himself. Another half an hour passed, and already more than 100 had died by his hand. Finally, a shattered nirvana stage. Wang Lin's eyes gleamed, and a smile played on his lips as he looked toward the rift in the tribulation cloud. Amid the flickering lightning, an old man stepped through. He wore black robes and exuded an aura of absolute authority. The moment he emerged, his expression changed drastically. He lowered his head sharply and immediately saw Wang Lin and the blood-soaked sky and earth. A grave look filled the old man's eyes, and a murderous intent flashed across his face. Instead of retreating, he charged directly at Wang Lin, forming rapid hand seals and pointing into the void. To slaughter your own clan in this way, you deserve death, he roared, his body erupting with lightning as he transformed into a bolt of thunder, aiming straight for Wang Lin. At the same time, a phantom figure emerged behind the lightning. It was the Elder again. In that instant, he had split into two, one body charging toward Wang Lin, the other fleeing in panic, casting the teleportation art in a desperate bid to escape. Wang Lin remained calm. This shattered nirvana cultivator of the Lightning Thunder clan was indeed decisive. He had instantly thought of sacrificing a clone to flee with his true body. But Wang Lin was only an avatar, not his true self. Without the extreme realm, merely relying on shattered nirvana cultivation alone wouldn't have been enough to stop the Elder. His eyes flashed red as the extreme realm burst forth, transforming into crimson lightning. With a thunderous boom, it pierced through the Elder's clone that was blocking him. The clone trembled, its eyes dimming as it collapsed. The crimson lightning shot through its crumbling form and, in a flash, entered the body of the true Elder just as he was about to teleport away. Blood spurted from the Elder's mouth. His eyes filled with boundless terror, and within seconds, the light in his gaze vanished. His essence spirit was obliterated, his vitality extinguished. His corpse fell from the sky as the clan mark on his forehead was collected. How long do you plan to keep hiding? Wang Lin said, his expression unchanged. After killing the shattered nirvana cultivator, he turned to the distant void. The crimson lightning of the extreme realm crackled and twisted toward that spot, ready to unleash destruction at any moment. Ripples distorted the sky, and from within them emerged the bald youth, previously dubbed the Spirit Dispersion Sage by the 7 million worlds cultivators, who had earlier retrieved the corpse. You followed me this far. I'll give you one sentence to explain yourself. If I'm not satisfied, you die, Wang Lin said quietly, gazing at the bald youth. What shook him even more was that even such a powerful shattered nirvana cultivator had been utterly powerless before this man. Just what is his cultivation level? The shock of it all stirred up a storm in the mind of the bald youth, but nothing could compare to the shock he felt when Wang Lin, with a single sentence, revealed his hidden presence. It was as if Wang Lin had known from the very beginning that he had been following him. This realization sent the bald youth into an even deeper state of shock, far beyond his expectations. Though the bald youth's cultivation was not at the peak, his hidden divine abilities were supreme, a legacy passed down for generations. For countless years, he had moved silently, like a member of the Lightning Thunder clan, wandering the 7 million realms without detection by any immortal. Even those far beyond his cultivation level never noticed him. Years ago, a cultivator who had reached the fourth decay of heaven and man had crossed his path, but the bald youth had easily followed him for months without being detected by that cultivator, not even the slightest hint of suspicion. At this moment, his mouth was dry, especially with the red lightning before him. It gave him an overwhelming sense of the greatest crisis in his life. Every flicker of that red lightning sent chills down his spine, and he faintly realized that there was no escaping it. If that lightning struck, death was certain. Meanwhile, Wang Lin's cold, calm words felt like an invisible sword, piercing through his mind. carrying an endless chill. The surroundings were eerily silent, save for the thunderous booms emanating from the tribulation clouds above. Sweat trickled down the bald youth's face. Wang Lin's gaze remained fixed on him, and after a few moments of silence, he furrowed his brow. Seeing Wang Lin frown, the bald youth's heart thundered, and he immediately cupped his hands in a bow, speaking quickly. "Immortal, please calm your anger. I am but a mortal, a scattered spirit. I mean no offense. Please." Before he could finish, Wang Lin waved his right hand, and the red lightning exploded into a blinding light, transforming into a rainbow that shot straight toward the bald youth with unimaginable speed. The bald youth only saw a towering red glow, and in an instant, the red lightning struck through his forehead with a thunderous crash. His body trembled, and he coughed up blood, yet he did not die. A vast power suddenly erupted from the wound on his forehead, creating a wave of energy that enveloped his body. Within this wave, his entire cultivation unraveled in an instant, and a mighty aura surged around him. It was as if within his body, a soul that could shake the heavens had awoken. This soul's power was so immense that even the extreme realm could not kill it in one strike. As I expected, Wang Lin's eyes flickered with a strange gleam. He took a step forward and raised his hand, reaching toward the bald youth. The bald youth, surrounded by the energy wave, suddenly cleared his mind. His eyes now reflected the weight of countless years of hardship. As Wang Lin approached, he spoke in a soft voice. "Do you wish to obtain the spirit thought thunder? Please, hear me out." Wang Lin's gaze flickered, and he stopped midair, coldly watching the bald youth, whose expression seemed completely different from before. Just moments ago, the bald youth had appeared youthful, but now, his demeanor was that of someone who had lived through countless eons of trials. "My name is Scattered Spirit. I have lived for tens of thousands of years, and my cultivation has reached the fourth decay of heaven and man." The bald youth spoke slowly. "As for the body you see before you, I possess 971 of them, each containing a part of my divine soul. These clones can move through the starry sky, much like the cultivators of the Lightning Thunder clan, without being detected by anyone. I have been secretly following you, not with ill intentions, but to seek your help and make a deal. If you are interested, it would be beneficial for both of us." The bald youth spoke softly, his eyes fixed on Wang Lin. "You know the Lightning Thunder clan?" Wang Lin's expression remained unchanged as he spoke slowly. The bald youth's expression grew complex, and he nodded. "Would you accompany me to a certain place? I will explain everything along the way." "What place?" Wang Lin's expression showed no change in emotion as he spoke evenly. "The ends of the world." The bald youth sighed deeply, raising his right hand and sweeping it toward the sky. Instantly, the tribulation clouds above dispersed. At the same time, a mark flashed from his hand, heading straight toward the tribulation transcending man below, landing on his forehead and immediately concealing his cultivation, preventing further tribulations from occurring. With that done, the energy wave around the bald youth contracted, and it all absorbed back into his body. He cupped his hands in a salute to Wang Lin before stepping into the void, breaking through the nothingness and vanishing from this realm. Wang Lin's gaze flickered as he took a step forward, following the bald youth, and stepping into the void as well. "I have been in the spirit transformation stage for a century, contemplating the heavens and witnessing the tribulations. After experiencing many tribulations, I began to question whether these so-called immortals are truly as my ancestors had said. With doubts growing, I suppressed my own cultivation and chose not to reach the peak of spirit transformation, instead searching for the answers in secret." The bald youth walked ahead, each step breaking through a part of the world as he traveled across the 7 million realms, heading toward the distance. Wang Lin walked beside him, his expression calm as he also moved through the 7 million realms. One mortal city after another, one stretch of starry sky after the next. Even the spring rains, autumn winds, summer sun, and winter snow, all flickered ceaselessly within these countless worlds. "It's a pity," the bald youth said quietly as he walked, his voice tinged with bitterness. "Though I was gifted, I couldn't suppress my cultivation forever. When I was over 200 years old, I could no longer hold it back and triggered a heavenly tribulation. The celestial being who descended with that tribulation is now the Grand Elder of the Lightning Thunder clan. Back then, his cultivation was only at the glimpse of Nirvana stage. Under his heavenly tribulation, I was gravely wounded, on the verge of death. I stood no chance. But he didn't kill me. Instead, he crippled all my cultivation and left. I once thought the path of the heavens held compassion for life. It wasn't until many years later that I realized he spared me so I could continue cultivating, and in doing so, perhaps awaken the potential to give birth to thought thunder. He paused, then continued in a calm voice, his eyes reflecting distant memories. But what he never expected is that not only did I recover my cultivation, but during that tribulation, I came to understand the transformation of heaven and earth. I used the existence of these 7 million realms to suppress my cultivation. And from that, I conceived a divine ability that allowed my cultivation to grow stronger, without ever triggering another tribulation. To scatter the spirit into each of the avatars, Wang Lin said calmly, glancing at him. The bald youth nodded. Through the scattered spirit technique, I infused the portion of my cultivation that surpassed the spirit transformation stage into the bodies of others. In this way, over the course of 1,000 years, I cultivated to the peak of the path, and my avatars reached a total of 971. 971. That was the limit of my spirit dispersion. I couldn't exceed it, so I found another way. I used each avatar as a new core, and once again performed the scattered spirit technique. Each of those 971 avatars scattered their spirits as well, each creating another 971 sub-avatars. In this endless cycle, my cultivation slowly increased until I reached pure nirvana. At this point, the bald youth sighed. Both he and Wang Lin were great divine ability cultivators. As they walked, they tore through the fabric of space, traversing ever farther. After reaching pure nirvana, I began to seek the answer to a question that had plagued me for years. I wanted to know, what exactly is this heaven? And this earth? Is the immortal realm truly what we think it is? Are celestial beings truly immortal? I wanted to pursue the ancient legends, the stories passed down from generation to generation, the hopes and dreams of those who longed for the immortal realm. But even though I had reached pure nirvana, even though my avatars were no weaklings, I still couldn't leave these 7 million realms. I could only roam within them. I couldn't enter the starry sky beyond. A formless barrier enveloped it all, and my cultivation was not strong enough to break through. So I devised a method. I controlled my countless avatars, one after another, to break past the peak spirit transformation stage and trigger heavenly tribulations. A portion of the tribulations that appeared across the 7 million realms were all caused by my avatars. Each time a tribulation descended, I would observe from nearby. And slowly, over time, after witnessing tribulation after tribulation, I began to understand some things. But that understanding also brought with it a terrifying revelation. I couldn't believe it. The world I lived in was something created by someone else. I couldn't believe that my entire life, in someone else's eyes, was nothing more than an ant's existence, meant only to gather thought thunder. Wang Lin remained silent, a complex light flickering in his eyes as he listened to the youth speak. I became lost, confused, and helpless. I told a few people what I had discovered, but no one believed me. Not a single one. Even I couldn't believe it. I didn't want to believe it. I would have rather discovered nothing. I would have rather it was all just my imagination. For thousands of years, I drifted aimlessly, until one day, I saw 2 celestial beings in battle. One of them died. The corpse fell from the sky and landed on the ground. I stood before it for a very, very long time, until it rotted, until everything faded. And then, I threw my head back and laughed. I laughed so hard that tears streamed down my face. That corpse wasn't a celestial being. It was someone just like me, a mortal cultivator. From that day on, I was no longer lost. I told myself, I would shatter this heaven and earth. I would break free. I had to see what lay beyond the sky, to test whether my guesses over these millennia were true. The bald youth's eyes shone with excitement. These words, he had never shared them with anyone before. I resumed my cultivation. Each of my 971 sub-avatars performed the scattered spirit technique once more. Through this endless cycle of cultivation, time passed, but the fury in my heart only grew deeper. Until, at last, my cultivation reached shattered nirvana. Even a portion of my avatars attained pure nirvana or glimpse of nirvana. And finally, I broke the prison of the sky. I stepped into the starry sky beyond. Not Red Butterfly, not Li Qianmei, not even Situ Nan. None of them could match this man's talent. And none possessed his determination to break through everything and uncover the truth. I shattered the barrier and, for the first time, beheld the world beyond the sky. It was the starry sky. So beautiful. So beautiful. My suspicions were confirmed. I saw other cultivators like me, but their cultivation was weak. The weakest among them were only at the spirit transformation stage. But even this spirit transformation cultivator could transform into the path of the heavens, call himself a celestial being, and descend with a heavenly tribulation to slaughter my people. In my fury, I began my massacre, and with each life I took, I learned the whole truth from those I killed. The truth. The bald youth laughed wildly, tears streaming down his face. The truth is that the place where I live is called the 7 million world starry sky. It was constructed by a tribe known as the Lightning Thunder Clan. We are like livestock penned inside it, whipped by the Lightning Thunder Clan with their whip of heavenly law. Once we reached the spirit transformation stage, they summoned the heavenly tribulation to harvest our spirit thought thunder. I learned even more. Countless ancestors who achieved ascension to immortality in these 7 million worlds throughout endless generations. All those legendary tales passed down. All fake. Every single one. They died. The moment they ascended, they were physically and spiritually annihilated. This is the immortal realm. This is what celestial beings really are. The bald youth's voice was laced with madness, and an overwhelming resentment surged out. Wang Lin stood silent, his eyes growing more complex. What we see is the path of the heavens, and the heavenly tribulation is nothing but a task, an assignment that any member of the Lightning Thunder Clan can take on. How laughable that even then, I refused to believe it was true. Even when I slaughtered those of the Lightning Thunder Clan, I didn't dare kill too many of them. I was afraid, terrified. I also learned that the cultivator who spared me during the heavenly tribulation back then has now become the first elder of the Lightning Thunder Clan. I feared they would discover I knew the truth. I trembled beneath the weight of the immortal realm pressing down on me and the 7 million worlds for countless years. I didn't dare resist. Tears kept streaming down the bald youth's face. Those memories were the agony of his entire life. I even kept telling myself that none of it was real, that the world I lived in was not a prison. I wanted to escape the truth I had uncovered. So I flew, farther and farther away, drifting endlessly through the starry sky, through these 7 million worlds, just like I am now. The bald youth stepped forward, bitterness in every movement, crossing realm after realm. Until one day, I arrived here. The bald youth's body gradually came to a stop. He looked at Wang Lin and raised his right hand, pointing ahead. In that brief span, the bald youth had already pierced through the 7 million worlds. Where his finger pointed was still the starry sky, but it was shrouded in swirling mist, hazy and indistinct. It was utterly silent here, without the slightest sound. The bald youth stepped forward, but stopped just before the mist. He placed his right hand against it, pressing gently. Instantly, the mist surged and rolled, swirling rapidly, and a blinding light burst out fiercely from the starry sky ahead. At the same time, ripples spread outward. Behind that light, an enormous barrier slowly revealed itself, towering like an endless wall that filled the heavens and the earth. Before it, a cultivator was as insignificant as a speck of dust. I ran all the way here, to the very edge of the 7 million worlds, the end of the world. Here, every thought of escape inside me collapsed, shattered into pieces. I could no longer avoid reality or the truth. The youth spoke softly. I stopped running. I chose to face it. I chose to resist. I returned to the 7 million worlds and founded the Scattered Spirit Sect. Every single one of my avatars is a spirit dispersion sage, spreading the will of my sect and manipulating most cultivators within the 7 million worlds. I taught them the cultivation method I comprehended for reaching the spirit transformation stage the fastest. I went mad in my cultivation, avatar after avatar after avatar, Tens of thousands of years passed, and today, my cultivation has reached what you celestial beings call the fourth decay of heaven and man. The youth turned and looked at Wang Lin. I want to slay celestial beings. I want to overturn the Lightning Thunder clan. I want to lead my people out of here. But after all these thousands of years of nurturing, the power I've amassed is still not enough to defeat that first elder who has already reached the fifth decay of heaven and man. I've given everything, poured every cultivator I nurtured into the fight. Together, even with the life grand array I set up over tens of thousands of years, we could only severely wound him. But we could not kill him, let alone the other elders of the Lightning Thunder clan. And my cultivation has also reached its limit. I cannot survive the death tribulation to reach the fifth decay. I need your help. The bald youth's gaze fell on Wang Lin, a plea in his eyes. You are different from those of the Lightning Thunder clan. You are the first person to give me hope. With your cultivation, you can help me. I can see that you feel no kindness for the Lightning Thunder clan either. If we join forces, it will benefit us both. Wang Lin remained silent. I have followed you all this way, and know you are collecting spirit thought thunder. I have it. If you agree to stand with me, I will give you all the spirit thought thunder I possess, the youth said through gritted teeth. Wang Lin still said nothing. He only looked up at the barrier at the end of the world, his eyes lost in confusion. Moreover, within these 7 million realms, there are countless cultivators of my clan. If this plan succeeds and my clan is able to escape this confinement, then in the future, should you have any requests, I will fulfill them without hesitation. Even if I am no longer around, my clan will continue this promise, passing it down through generations. I learned from the memories of the Lightning Thunder clan that in your realms, there are distinctions between the inner and outer realms. If needed, I can have my entire clan assist you in a battle within the inner realm. How confident are you? After a long silence, Wang Lin slowly spoke. If you join forces with me, I have 70% confidence. The bald youth's eyes flashed, and after a brief pause, he spoke in a deep voice. 70%. Wang Lin fell silent. He withdrew his gaze from the distant barrier, his eyes glowing with a strange light. Slowly he nodded. The bald youth's expression brightened, and he looked deeply at Wang Lin before laughing heartily. All right, I will kill all the Lightning Thunder clan cultivators here. This will surely attract the attention of the clan, and the Grand Elder will definitely come. No need for that. If all the Lightning Thunder clan cultivators here are killed, even if the clan notices and sends someone to investigate, it won't just be the Grand Elder. It could be several elders, and that would complicate matters. If you have a way to allow me to enter freely, I can draw the Grand Elder here alone. Once he dies, the matter will be settled. Wang Lin said calmly, looking at the bald youth. The bald youth fell silent for a moment before slowly nodding. I will destroy 2/10 of my avatars to condense a spirit talisman. With this talisman, along with my cooperation here, I can help you open a passage to this place from the outside world, but it will only stay open for 3 breaths. The passage cannot be used to exit, but it will allow entry. The bald youth said, then without hesitation, closed his eyes. At the moment his eyes shut, thousands of cultivators from the 7 million realms trembled during meditation, their physical bodies crumbling and dissipating in an instant. Their souls and everything within them rapidly vanished into the void. This all happened in the blink of an eye. The bald youth's complexion turned pale, and raising his right hand, he formed a hand sign. In a strange manner, the power of those avatars converged. Moments later, a blood-red spirit talisman appeared in his hand, which he passed to Wang Lin. Wang Lin took it, examined it carefully, then cupped his fist toward the youth and turned to leave. In a single step, he vanished without a trace. Wait for my news. Wang Lin's voice echoed, gradually fading. The bald youth gazed in the direction where Wang Lin had disappeared, remaining silent for a long time. He muttered to himself, I can only trust him. I have no choice but to trust him. In the starry sky, Wang Lin's figure sped through the void. His gaze flickered as he pondered. He didn't fully trust the bald youth's words. This was in his nature, hence why he had demanded the spirit talisman. With his cultivation, he knew that opening the sealed realm required far more power than was apparent. Seeing how quickly the youth made his decision and how he sacrificed so much to create the talisman, it was clear the youth was showing sincerity. The The reason Wang Lin agreed to this plan wasn't just to kill the Grand Elder of the Lightning Thunder clan. The more important thing was his desire to help these people. It was a feeling, a need to break free from something, to let these people escape and prove something. Wang Lin's speed increased dramatically as he traversed the starry sky, heading straight toward the central plaza. Soon, the plaza appeared in his sight, and with a single step, he crossed countless distances, landing right in the center of the plaza. Ignoring the gazes of the surrounding people, Wang Lin's figure flickered and disappeared, reappearing outside a towering palace. This place was where one could leave the 7 million realms and return to the Lightning Thunder clan. Next to the palace was a massive formation. At that moment, the formation was running, and dozens of figures could be seen standing within it. The formation was about to begin its teleportation, and several Lightning Thunder clan members were outside, controlling it. Wang Lin's figure appeared in an instant. Without sparing a glance, he stepped directly into the formation. Stop! The formation is in operation. Wait for the next batch. A Lightning Thunder clan cultivator in charge of the formation shouted sternly. But before the shout could even finish, Wang Lin tore forward with his right hand. There was a thunderous crash as the formation was torn open by force. Wang Lin stepped into the formation with a powerful slam. The cultivators outside the formation were stunned, their faces pale in shock. Even the dozens of people inside the formation, who were about to be teleported, looked on in disbelief. The formation glowed and the people within it, including Wang Lin, disappeared without a trace.